Hey everybody, it's Chris. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a new series of videos that I am affectionately titling Chris's No Reviews of Gear. What that means is no B-roll, no slow motion, and no fluff. So with that being said, let's just jump in. Okay, for this inaugural episode, if you will, we're going to be taking a look at my favorite street photography camera of the last 6 to 8 months. Probably will be for the rest of this year as well, and that is the Fujifilm XE-3. So if you have not been living under a rock for the last 2 years, you know that in the Fuji game, the two kings of the ring, if you will, are the X-T3/X-T4 and the X100. The X100 being really the camera that we want to focus on for this video because it is the street photography, walking around, rangefinder type camera, and that's really what the XE3 is as well. Now, don't get me wrong, the X100 is a nearly perfect camera from ergonomics, size, the quality of the images you get even from the original X100, they're stellar. The only real issue I have with that camera, and that any sane photographer should have an issue with, Pat Tomaso, is the fact that it does not have an interchangeable lens system. And look, I get it. 35mm equivalent is one of the best focal lengths for walking and gunning street photography. I get it. It's what I used to use the majority of the time when I was doing that for a living, but there is only so much that you can do with 35mm, and eventually you hit that wall. And when you hit that wall, if you own the X100, the only option you have is to buy a new camera, and that is absurd. Added to that, I'm a vintage lens shooter, so not being able to use all of these amazing lenses that I've amassed over the last 4 to 5 years was really a non-starter for me. So I wanted the X100 form factor, body style, image quality, but I wanted something that was a little bit more adaptable and had a little bit more freedom to it, and that's when I found the XE3. Now, if you take the XE3 and you pair it with a small pancake lens like this 28mm f2 that I have, you can see it's a really compact package. I mean, yes, it's not as compact as the X100, but the difference is minimal and isn't really going to factor much into ergonomics or your shooting style when you see it like this. I mean, I have big hands and a giant head, but you can see it's a tiny package, and this is what I use for months, walking around taking beautiful photos like these. Once I got used to the camera and how it worked and its quirks and oddities and things like that, I got some adapters to connect my vintage M4 III mount lenses, full frame lenses, to the XE3, and then a whole new world opened up when I could, throw this 135mm super multi-coated Takumar on there and really open this thing up and see what it could do. And that's when things really changed for me. And that's again why I prefer something like the XE3 to the X100, because you just have more freedom to experiment and to be creative, and that's something that I need. Okay, like I said, that's it. Really, I just wanted to talk about the camera because it doesn't get a lot of love, and if you are looking for a Fuji camera and you really are stuck on rangefinder and you want that interchangeable lens system, but you don't want to step up to the X Pro 1, 2, or 3 because of expense, the XE3 is a fantastic solution for that problem. And you can get them going on eBay and things like that for between $300 and $500, depending on condition and if it comes with a lens or not. And that's really for an APS-C sized sensor with a mid-20s megapixel sensor. That's a fantastic price. All metal construction, like it's really solid. The XE3 shoots 4K video if you want that. I mean, it's a solid contender for street photography. And if you do decide to use it, let me know, and I would love to see your photos. So yeah, that's it. I will see you guys again when I have another thing to rant about later.